Hi, my name is Mr. Pa, and I am an elementary math teacher development specialist. Today we're going to learn in the unit of conversions. So before we get started, what I need you to do is to grab something to write with, such as a pencil, pen, maybe a marker, and something to write on, such as your notebook, your notebook, math journal, or notebook paper. If you have any of those things, that would be great. And also, if your teacher provided you with a 5th grade STAR mathematics reference chart, have that out handy too. If not, you can get your device. You can Google 5th grade STAR mathematics reference sheet, and it's going to look like this. Make sure you have this out also, because it's going to help you solve some of the problems we have today. So let's get started. Our objective today is I can use tables to solve 1 or 2-step problems involving whole number conversion within the customary or metric system. All right, let's engage ourselves into a practice problem so that way we can be familiarized with what we're learning. Let's read this problem. Sophia has a pencil that is 15 centimeters. Find the length of her pencil in millimeters. So what you're going to have to do is go to that STAR reference chart and let's find where it says the length portion and then centimeters and milliliters. It should look like this in that section. And then what you're going to do is pause the video for right now, draw this chart. It's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows, and 1, 2, 3, and 3 columns. Go ahead and pause the video and copy this down. Now, what we're going to do is look at the conversion of 1 centimeter equals 10 milliliters. Well, we know that she has 15 centimeters. So what I know that I'm going to do is that this section right here is going to be our centimeters. And then in the middle, we're always going to have our process or rule. And then the last column, we're going to have our conversion of the milliliter into milliliters. Then what we have to do is we're going to label our centimeters section into counting by 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, and then I know that we're in the 15, so instead of counting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm just going to go ahead and skip to 10 to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to go to 10, and then we're at 15, so again, I'm going to skip 11, 12, 13, 14, and go straight to 15. And then once we do that, we have to figure out our process rule. Well, our process rule is that 1 centimeter is equal to 10 milliliters. So we know that we're going to be multiplying 1 centimeter by the amount of conversion of 10 milliliters, and that will give us 10. So 1 centimeter equals 10 milliliters. Now if I have 2 centimeters, the rule will be 2 times 10 will give us 20. As you can see, we're going to multiply the amount of centimeters we have by 10 to get the amount of milliliters out. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this process. 3 times 10 is 30. 4 times 10 is 40. 5 times 10 is 50. 10 times 10 is 100. And then 15 times 10 is 150. Now that we've had this, we can easily solve the problem and see that since Sophia's pencil is 15 centimeters To convert it, we see that it is going to be 150 millimeters. So having the reference chart will help you find the formula that you need or the conversion that you need to solve the problem. So make sure you have that reference chart handy for you so that way you can use it to solve the problems that we have for the rest of the lesson. Now we're going to move on to some vocabulary, and we're going to review that so that way we know what words we're looking at throughout the lesson. Let's move on to our vocabulary. So our first word is going to be the customary measurement system. The system measurement in the United States, this system measures length in inches, feet, yards, and miles, capacity in fluid, ounces, cups, pints, quarts, gallons, weight in ounces, pounds, and tons. This is the customary measurement system. Then we're going to move on to the metric measurement system, which is the international system of units of SI metric. Is the standard system of measurement used by many scientists. The SI system measures length in millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers, volume in millimeters and liters, mass in milligrams, and grams in kilograms. So customary is what we use in the United States. Metric is what they use all over the world. Then we're going to move on to conversion. You heard me say this earlier. Conversion is to name a given measurement with a different unit of measure when both units, original unit and the new unit, share the same attribute. Conversion. So that's like earlier we were talking about centimeters and milliliters. They're both within the same attribute, but they're used to measure different units. Then we're going to move on to weight, a measure of the pull. Weight, a measure of the pull or force to given. I'm going to read that one more time. A measure of the pull or force of gravity on an object. Then we have mass, the amount of matter in an object. Length, the distance from one point to another along a straight line. Capacity is the amount a container can hold. And our last word is volume, the amount of three-dimensional space an object occupies. So now that we're done with our vocabulary, again, make sure you have that 5th grade STAR mathematics reference sheet ready. And we're going to move on to our math strategy that we're going to use for the day, which is the 3-read strategy. This story is about Miss Franklin and the weight of her new baby. So we know that part. We know what the story is about. So what do we need to find out? What do we have to find out? Well, if we go back to the story problem, it basically tells us what we need to find out. How many ounces are equivalent to 6 pounds, 5 ounces? How many ounces are equivalent to 6 pounds, 5 ounces? Well, we already have 5 ounces. So, what do I know? What do I know? Well, I know the weight of the baby is 6 pounds, 5 ounces. So if the weight of the baby is 6 pounds, 5 ounces, and I need to find how many is altogether in ounces, what's my next step? What do I need to do? We need to find the conversion from pounds to ounces, and then add the conversion of the pounds to the 5 ounces so that way we get a total amount of ounces that we need to solve the problem. So using the 3-read strategy, we're able to break down the problem and really understand what we need to do to solve the problem. Okay, now that we've done our 3-read strategy, I've gone ahead and cleared that so we have room to work, but make sure you have your 3-read strategy next to you so that way you can use it to see if you need any help solving the problem. That way you can go back and look at it, see what questions were asked and what answers we put there. So let's go back to our STAR reference chart and let's look at something. Let's look at something there. We said that we had to find the pound and ounces on there, right here. So we know, again, this is the process or / rule that we're going to use, that 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Remember, we talked about that earlier. So that helps us know that we're going to be multiplying 1 times 16 to figure out the rest of the problem. But think, I'm missing something here that I had earlier when I was doing the engage. What I need here is a chart or a table, so that way we can do our work. So I'm going to create a 3-column table. And you can do this at home also while I'm doing this. It's going to be 3 columns, so make sure you have room for 3. And I believe it's going to be about 5 rows going down. So again, I'm going to create my chart or my table, so that way we can have it to use. And then draw my columns in. Remember, we said 3 columns. We'll do 3 columns. And it doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, my lines are not perfect whatsoever, but that's perfectly fine. One row, 2 rows, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm going to just draw 1 more just to have in case. So I have my table now, and this is definitely going to help us solve the problem. And remember, you do want to have a table so that way your work is nice and neat and organized, so that way it makes it easier to solve the problem. So we have our problem, our rule, and our table. Now it's just a matter of us solving it and filling in the blanks in the chart. So we're going to go ahead and move on there. Okay, so now let's fill in our chart. So again, we're going to start with titling each column. So we know that this is pounds. And then in the middle is always our process / rule. And then we have ounces, I forgot my abbreviation here. So make sure you always title your columns from the conversion that it starts, the conversion that we have, the process rule, into the conversion that we're looking for. What we have to do is fill in our pounds. Well, we know we have 6 pounds, so we're going to start with 1. And it's always best to start with 1. Always start with 1, so that way we can find out how much it is just for 1 pound. And then we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And then remember, we said our processor rule is usually the pound times however many ounces is going to be converted to, which is 16 here. So it's going to be 1 times 16, 2 times 16, 3 times 16, 4 times 16, 5 times 16, and then 6 times 16. It may be best for you to pause the video right now so you can copy this part of the lesson. And as you copy this down, you can unpause the video, and then we'll continue on with the math that it takes to convert from pounds to ounces. Now that you've taken the time to copy the problem, or actually copy the chart down and all the numbers that go inside each box, we're going to do the math and solve for each of these problems right here. So let's go ahead and convert the pounds to the ounces. Well, let's follow the rule. 1 times 16. Well, in 5th grade by now, you should know that 1 times any number is the number in itself. So 1 times 16 is going to give us 16. 2 times 16 is 32. All we had to do to get that is double the 16. 3 times 16 is 48. And I'm gonna stop for a minute because I forgot to mention this. You see this empty space here? I left that there just in case I needed some room to do some of the math, because Some of us know our multiplication facts really well. Some of us struggle with it, and that's okay. You can always just take this space here and practice those problems. So right here with 4 times 16, I can go ahead and do 16 times 4. And to solve this, I'm going to do 6 times 4. So I'm looking at the ones digit. 6 times 4 is 24. My 4 goes there. I'll bring my 20 over here. 1 times 4 is 4. And then plus the 2 up here is going to give me 60. It's going to give me 64. And one other thing, some of you may not have noticed this, but 4 is double 2. So another way to solve this problem is we can just double 32. If we double 32, it would have gave us 64. And let me double check that real quick. 32 plus 32. 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. What do you know? 64. Let's move on. So now we have 5 times, oh, I'm sorry, I wrote 15. That should say 16. Five times 16. So 5 times 16 is going to give us 80. And again, you can definitely use this space up here to do 5 times 16 if you get stuck. And now, here's what we're looking for. Because we knew that Miss Franklin and her new baby weighs 6 pounds. Miss Franklin's new baby weighs 6 pounds and 5 ounces. Here's our 6 pounds. We have to convert it into ounces. Well, in order to do that, we're going to multiply 6 times 16. Or we know that 6 is double 3. So that means all we have to do is double 48. Whatever you prefer. I'll show you both ways. We're going to do 16 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 6. And then we're going to add the 3, which represents 30 up here. And that gives us 96. Or again, we could just double 48, which would be 48 plus 48. 8 plus 8 is 16. Bring the 10 over here. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. 96. So now that we've gotten now that we converted the pounds into the ounces, we know that the 6 pounds equal 96 ounces. But we aren't done yet. Why are we not done? Because we have to add that extra 5 ounces that was in the problem. So we have to go back and think. Once we convert, remember, what was that one step that we had? Our next step was to, it says add the conversion of pounds and the 5 ounces to find the total ounces. So we have our conversion of pounds into ounces, and now we got to go back and add the 5 ounces. 96 plus 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. Bring the 1 over, which is 10. 10 plus 9 gives us actually 101. So we really solved this problem by taking our time. First, we did a 3-read strategy and broke down the problem. And remember, I said to keep that 3-read strategy. Hope you took notes on that. And then, like I just did now, we went back and referred to it. And it helped me remember that I had to add the 5 ounces to the conversion from pounds to ounces. And that gave me my 101 ounces. So now we know that Miss Franklin's baby in ounces is 101 ounces. So it's always important to have your work nice, neat, and organized the best you can. Again, the chart doesn't have to be that neat. Show your work. And then go back to that. If you're doing the 3-read strategy, go back to it and use it as a reference to help you. And speaking of reference, make sure you have that star reference chart handy when you're doing conversions. So keep that in mind. So we're going to move on to the next part. And the next part is where I want you to practice writing. I'm going to explain that to you in a second. I'm just going to clear this out and I'm going to explain to you what you're going to do next. All right, so I've cleared my board and I want you to take this time and think, what did you learn about today? Especially conversions. So I'm going to have you do a little writing in your journal. In your journal, I want you to write this question. Or not, well, yeah, this question. Explain how you can use a conversion table to help you convert measurements. So if you want, go ahead and pause the video right now, copy this question down in your math journal. Now that you have it in your journal, I want you to go ahead and think about this. And I'll give you some tips and pointers or different things that can help you come up with some things that we talked about today. So conversions. The conversion table to how you convert. So that table that we had earlier, what's so good about it? Well, there were a couple words that I said. Think about this. Organization, neat, clean. So think about how a table like that can help you do your work. And I really want you to focus on how this conversion table is not just going to help you do your work, but how it helps you solve the problem correctly. Because imagine if I didn't have a table at all, what are we going to do? Just have a bunch of numbers everywhere, and that gets kind of confusing. So it's always good to keep our work nice, neat, and organized the best we can. And I'm not saying you have to draw perfect straight lines. All I'm saying is to have a way to organize your work so that way it makes it easier. And that conversion table definitely helped me when I had to do my process and rule part, because that would have been a lot of confusion for me. So take a minute right now and answer this question in your journal. You know what I forgot? I forgot to add a question mark. So go ahead and answer this question in your journal. And then when you come back, I'm gonna show you the practice that you're gonna work on, and then we'll recap what the lesson was about today. Let's recap what we learned today. So we learned about conversions. And in this unit, we were able to convert different units to other units. And we were able to use you guessed it, the star reference sheet to help us solve these conversions. And it breaks down the different categories from the length, the volume capacity, weight, and mass, and it tells you the different conversions with each section. So make sure that at home, if you don't have a paper copy, you can request one from your teacher, or you can just simply Google 5th grade STAR mathematics reference materials, and this will pop up for you to use. So make sure you have that handy when you're doing conversions. We also refresh our minds with the three-read strategy. This strategy will really help you break down the problem and understand it to where you can solve word problems just simply by breaking it down into different parts. What is a story about? What do I need to find out? What do I know? And then your next steps. Using the three-read strategy will definitely help you solve problems a little bit better and make life a little bit easier so you're not so frustrated when it comes to word problems. So keep this strategy in mind when you're doing math word problems, math stories, and not just with conversions, but with any problems that are out there with where you have to break down the problem to determine what the story is talking about. So hopefully today you learn a little bit more about conversions, and you can go, and this will help you with the rest of the unit that you have in conversions, because this is basically the first lesson of the unit in conversions. So just want to say, have a good day, and thank you for being here with me as I taught you a little bit about conversions. Bye.